There is something to be said about the 10,000 hour paradigm most famously described in Malcolm Gladwell's book, Outliers. It's a great read for sure. It provides numerous examples of how this number seems to be a common denominator of greatness. So much so that it's hard to argue with it, so I won't. But a lot of folks may be wondering, is there any shortcut? Is there a faster way to acquire the knowledge and skill to become one of the best at anything? The fact is, experience is the best teacher. Unfortunately, she's the most expensive. And while putting in the time is a necessary component to becoming great at anything, there is a way to turbocharge your success. So, what's the secret? It's simple and should be obvious, yet so many people ignore it. It can be distilled down to just 5 words. Learn from other people's experience. Again, a simple concept, yet most people can't, won't, or don't do it. To repeat the mistakes that others have made before us, when those mistakes and what others have learned from them have been memorialized for us to read about, is simply lunacy. Almost everything that any of us seeks to do has already been done, and done well. Whether it's becoming a top salesperson, athlete, teacher, parent, manager, or anything else, people have done it already. And some of them have written books about how they became the best at it. And in those books, they've shared their knowledge, their costly mistakes, so you don't have to repeat them, along with all the other valuable things they've learned in the process. These books are worth their weight in gold. Now that's worth repeating. These books are worth their weight in gold. Yet, in most cases, they're largely ignored by the masses, who choose rather to repeat the mistakes of those that came before them. Relative to the cost of formal education, these books can be bought for pennies, and they can accelerate your success in anything and everything. If we read just one of these amazing books each month, which is no big deal to do, that's 12 each year. After 5 years, that's 60 books. If you're serious about this, step up your game and read 1 book a week. Again, not that hard to do if you give up just half the TV you're probably watching. That's 52 books a year, 260 books after just 5 years. Think about how much knowledge you can gain and how much smarter you'll be after reading books written by the best at any field of endeavor. But again, most folks, after their formal education is completed, whether that's high school, college, graduate school, pretty much think they're done with the learning from books stage of their life and that it's time to put to use what they've learned in school. Unfortunately, we're brainwashed by society to believe that somehow a college education is a prerequisite, even a ticket to success in life. Nothing could be further from the truth. Tragically, they teach you very little in college, and very little of what they do teach you will you ever remember. Even worse, the material they teach you in school, as it turns out, isn't of much use in the real world, unless, of course, you went to college to learn a trade like being a doctor, dentist, lawyer, accountant, architect. I have a college degree in business and a degree in law. Since then, I've read hundreds of the greatest books ever written. And what I've learned from those books has been worth many times more than anything I learned in my formal education. Make no mistake, I also put in the hours, but had I not availed myself of the knowledge from some of the authors that generously shared their secrets, I would have spent much of my working life making so many costly mistakes that I was able to avoid simply by following the blueprints laid out for me by others. I'm 100% sure that I wouldn't be the person I am today had I not been fortunate enough to discover this secret, in my case, very early at about age 16. The first 2 that I can remember are The Lazy Man's Way to Riches by Joe Carbo and an amazing audio recording by Earl Nightingale entitled The Strangest Secret, which talks about the true secret of success in the world today. Personally, I enjoy the types of books that can teach me something, make me smarter, and help me become a better person in some way. Books about self-improvement, achievement, business, sales, marketing, advertising, copywriting, success, relationships, parenting, health, food and cooking, etc. The older I get and the more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know. I have so much more to learn and so many ways to improve. And while I have no axe to grind against reading fiction and books solely for entertainment, as I know a lot of people enjoy them, for me, I have an insatiable hunger for information. So my reading is generally focused on books, magazines, and audio-video recordings that can teach me something and make me better and smarter. Some of the best ones are books I go back to again and again. The choice is yours. Go through life repeating the mistakes of those that have come before you, or learn from the mistakes of others simply by reading their books. Thanks for listening.